injured himself. He withdrew last week, middle of the last round, and he is going to come back. You know, they weren't sure if he's going to be able to compete, if he'd be done for the year. But he is going to play, going to try to play. He says he's pain-free. He was hitting a shot on the side of a bunker in the final round last week. And when he hit the shot, he fell back into the bunker and kind of ran through the bunker. When he kind of tweaked his back again. Well, he was only 4 months from surgery. They weren't sure if it was going to keep him out, but he is going to play this week. He's paired with Mickelson, so it should be a really huge draw. There'll be a lot of people watching that pairing.
Now, he hasn't won anything this year, has he, or did he win a minor?
Well, not this year, but he won 5 times last year.
But no majors.
No majors. But, I mean, people don't realize how hard it is to actually just win a tour event, let alone win 5 times. And he won a World Golf Championship last year, which is still very impressive.
Yeah. Now, do you think
we'll ever... It's almost like a major anyway with the amount of people they have in it.
Now, do you think mentally he'll ever be able to be the Tiger that got him to prominence? I mean, just the dominating golfer that he used to be?
I don't think it's him so much. I think it's the people aren't as scared of him as they used to be. The thing about the younger guys come up and they have no fear of anything. It doesn't matter if it's Tiger or who, they pair up with them, and most of them, they'll go right head to head with them, and it doesn't bother them. I mean, they're from, a different mindset. They don't get scared by anything, and that's the thing is Tiger used to do is he'd get near the leaderboard and people just crumble.
Yeah, he'd make that legendary Sunday run.
I think he's still a great player. The thing I think that's really setting him back is, and I wish he would have never tried to keep changing his swing, but his putting. Before he started to win everything, he was like 100 and something on tour and putting. And then he went to number 1. And I don't care. He's never been a good driver of the ball, but you look at all these guys for putting stats, the guys that have the best putting stats for the week are usually the guys that win the tournament. They're right around 1, 2 for the week, and, I mean, you got to be a great putter to win. And he hasn't been making the putt, like he had been. I think he eventually will probably find it. But, I mean, it takes a while for that to come back. And, I mean, your feel on the greens is probably the worst. A short game, you could just see he was leaving the ball 5 and 6, 7 feet at times on pitch shots, which that's not like him.
Well, I remember
he was usually really dead on.
I remember the major he was playing in years ago. I was actually at the Star Ranch Golf Club when they showed it, where he pitched out of it was in either the rough or a sand trap, and it hit the green, and then it took a right, and then it took a left, and then it took a right, and then it came right up to the lip of the hole, and it just sat at the lip for a second, and then dropped in. Remember that? That's one of the greatest shots ever.
He does some dramatic shots that, the one thing is he's like the Michael Jordan of golf. I don't think you always had people like Palmer, Player, Watson, Nicklaus, Trevino, Irwin. You had some great players years ago, but Nicklaus was the guy. I mean, Palmer was a great player, but Nicklaus was the man. Nicklaus won everything. And the thing is Nicklaus went through stuff that Tiger didn't have to go through. They used to call Nicklaus Fat Boy and all kinds of different names when he was coming up, just because they didn't like that he was beating, the man, the king. And you didn't think it was, they all wore suits and everything, dresses when they went to the tour events. And, they were all dressed up. It was a different era. And nowadays, you're lucky to get a shirt on a guy. Tiger's brought a lot of people to the game. Even people that dislike him want to know what he did for the week. How'd Tiger do? And some people dislike him because he's so good. Some people dislike him because he's black. And there are people that are prejudiced, but some people dislike him because he, fooled around. And there's a lot of people that. I like Tiger just because he's a great player. He's something in our lifetime we'll probably never see again. Rory's about the closest thing you can get to it. Rory McIlroy, he's coming on strong. I would love to see him, play good. I'd love to see, and yes, I'm biased. I'd love to see American be that player. But you look at the top 5 players out of the top 10 right now, they're foreign players.
Yeah, Phil Mickelson hasn't.
Luke Donald, Rory McIlroy. You look at, the last so many majors have won by foreign players.
Well, even Phil Mickelson has fallen off his game here of late. So, the United States doesn't really have anybody. Well, and Tiger's still such a force that even when he came back, when you're watching golf coverage on ESPN or any of them, it'll have the leaderboard and it'll have Tiger. It'll have, the top 5 or 6, and then it'll show where Tiger's at. And it's like, well, they don't do that for anybody else. Rory McIlroy is probably one of the best players in the game right now. They don't do that for him. Back when what was the Spanish guy that was young, the young Spanish kid that was
Sergio head-to-head with Rory McIlroy. Last Sunday, and he had a 3-shot lead going into Sunday, and he folded.
Yeah, but if he's just in the pack somewhere, they're not going to have like the top 5 golfers on the leaderboard than Sergio, or the top 10 players on the leaderboard. And then if Rory's not one of those 10,
don't do for everybody else.
Yeah, but with Tiger, you always know where Tiger's at. You always do, because they'll show the top 10 on the leaderboard, and then at the bottom they'll have, Tiger's currently in 20th. It's like
well, you look at Tiger years ago when he was, I think it was, it didn't matter how far back he was. He was like 8 down in 9 holes and come back, or whatever it was. It was ridiculous. He holed out twice in 9 holes and come back to win the tournament. And my dad jokingly said, I think he sold his soul to the devil. Just because it was crazy, stuff that was going on at one time. But last year at the Masters, not this Masters this year, but a year ago, he was, 11 or 12. He had a second shot, hit the flagstick, and it bounced back and went in the water. Well, he made a drop. Played out, got done, and I think if he doesn't hit the flagstick, he ends up winning another major there. And a lot of people felt that way. But you get to the point where he is on camera so much that he has almost an unfair criticism against whatever he does. He's watched he's like everything he does, from the parking lot to if they could get a camera in the shower, they would. That's the way these people are. And they follow him around so much. He's scrutinized by camera, everything he does. And not every player is like that on tour. So you get a guy that's, not like 125th on tour, somebody that's not real well known. Well, they don't have the cameras on him. They're not following him around. Great player, Steve Stricker, example. He got done playing at the Gender Classic, and friends of mine saw him at Chipotle going to get dinner with his family. Well, Tiger couldn't do that. He'd get mobbed.
Well, plus Tiger, Tiger likes Denny's.
Well, they talked about Tiger. He averages just getting gas 8 to 10 autographs every time he gets gas. Yeah. That would just be. How would you like that? I wouldn't want to live in that fishbowl. You can have all the money in the world, but it doesn't get you I mean, when you got to do is buy out a whole resort just so you can relax.
Well, you know, I will probably.
I only know a few people that can afford that, like Joe Rocks and a few, you know.
Well, you know, I don't know how he feels. I know you don't know how, but we can ask Joe. I mean, I think Joe averages like 5 autographs when he goes to the gas station, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah.
That's all because...
That's probably just because he's paying for everybody.
He signs an autograph every time he takes Dog out to lunch. Oh, but
that's right.
That's a credit card receipt. Yeah, it's good.
Dog does the reach in the pocket. Oh, you got a Joe? Okay.
Hey, Joe, I would have brought my wallet, but I left it in my car.
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
man.
It's
their show's going to be so funny tomorrow.
So one thing, you know, you look on the tour, and right now with what's going on with Dustin Johnson leaving, you know, a lot of people thought he was suspended. Well, the tour's saying no. You know, he said he was going away for 6 months or whatever, going to get his mind right and everything. Well, rumor has it he was into cocaine. I don't know if it's true or not. I hope it's not, but that's the rumor. Rumor has it he's trying to go into, I don't know if he's going to go to rehab or what he's going to do. Rumor has it that the girl he was engaged to, which is Wayne Gretzky's daughter, is into the cocaine. This is what people are telling me.
And who's this?
And then also, if you look it up on the internet, you can see, as rumor has it, that he was sleeping around with some of the tour guys' wives.
But
I don't know how many, but I heard
who's this
they
again?
named one of them.
Who's this again?
Dustin Johnson.
Dustin Johnson.
Who was a very popular player on tour right now, well-liked by a lot of people, you know, tall, thin, 6'4", handsome-looking guy. He's I don't know if he's won the PGA or not. He would have won the PGA one year, but he got jerked over by a rule. I thought was just a terrible rule, but it ended up costing him the tour tournament. But he's won some events on tour, won like 10 times. Just a nice guy. You know, a little bit too nice from what I hear with some of the players' wives. But I mean, I'm not to judge him on that for a golfing ability and stuff like that. You know, I thought he was a class act. But I mean, you know, Tiger's had some problems. You know, I can't see why he'd be screwing around. But I mean, I'm not him, so I don't know. I mean, maybe something wasn't going right at home. You know, so I mean, I can't judge him for that. All I judge him for is how good a player he is. And one thing I do like about Tiger is he brings people to the game.
Yep.
He brought people from every race, all sexes, you know, men, women, everything, children, older people to the game. Black, white, Asian. You know, I tell you, the influx of Asians on the tour is unbelievable. Because when I was in Korea back in '84, Korean women didn't play golf. It was just unheard of. And now some of the best players in the world are from South Korea. So, I mean, it's just, you know, golf has changed over in 25 years, 30 years, it's changed unbelievably. You know, I could stand there and watch the women's tour now because years ago when I was a kid to watch the women's tour, most all of them were big ladies. And you know, you didn't get too many very attractive ones. And now, 99% of them are really, really attractive.
And Korean.
So, I mean, it's just... No, what... Well, there's a lot of beautiful Asian women. I was in Korea for a year. I also helped teach Taekwondo, so I mean I know a lot of Asian people. So it was.
Well, who is the hot?
It doesn't bother me that they're Asian. I just
no. I didn't say it bothered you, but who was the Asian? Who's the Korean gal that was like 14 and just lighting it up? Michelle Wu, is that what her name? Or Michelle?
She's actually from. Michelle Wu is not. She's from Hawaii. Michelle Wu is originally born. She's American, born in Hawaii. I don't know if she's half Hawaiian or something like that or whatever. But
Korean. She's Korean.